Thank you, Brenda, and thank you, board, for having me tonight. Can everyone hear me okay? That's great. So as Brenda mentioned, I'm Michael List. I'm the director of LCOG's Government Services Division, and now I'll just hop into my presentation right here.
Okay. Let's see. There we go. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So what is government services? Or rather, what are government services? I struggled just writing the question between is and are is a little bit more complicated than I thought. As a whole, I think of our division as being described as a suite of services and technical assistance developed to meet the needs of our member and partners over time, but also in real time, meaning we offer a lot of time-tested expertise, but also the ability to adjust our members' needs as they change. My goal is to further demonstrate this as we walk through some of these remaining slides. On this slide, you'll just see a quick cross-section of some of the services we offer. One area of our expertise is urban and regional planning. Urban and regional planning provides a suite of services to members to cover their planning needs from current to long-range planning. That includes anything from zoning, permitting, comprehensive city, town, and regional planning. Our team of planners is in regular high demand due to their broad expertise in all these areas. Our planning assistance ranges from cities such as Dune City, Drain, Veneta, Lowell, Coburg, Oak Ridge, Coos Bay, Crestwell, Junction City, Eugene Parks, Eugene floodplain planning, Westford, Port of Siusla, and many others I'm sure I've missed. And this is just while I've been with the organization 8 months now. Two of our most recent projects include developing a Blue River community plan we are just getting started on following the Holiday Farm fire. And this plan will promote small town development patterns in a convenient pedestrian environment for the residents of Blue River. We've just begun our public engagement piece, and we're working with both state DLCD office as well as Lane County to roll out a large stakeholder event to kick off our public engagement planning. We are also working with the Metropolitan Wastewater Management Commission to develop a new 20-year facilities plan. Their current one expires in 2 years. The goal of this plan is to build on the previous efforts of the past 20 years to develop a practical and cost-effective set of capital improvements necessary to meet our growing community needs. We also provide transportation planning services. Now, LCOG itself is the Central Lane Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO. And that's a body created under federal law to coordinate, fund, and carry out transportation planning projects in the metro area. The LCOG board delegated the MBO policy board function to the Metropolitan Policy Committee, or MPC. And for MPO purposes, the MPC is composed of members from Wayne County, Eugene, Springfield, Coburg, LTD, and ODOT. The MPC meets monthly to carry out the duties of the MPO, which primarily include creating and maintaining a long-term 24-year transportation plan for the metro area, creating, maintaining, and implementing the metro area's intelligent transportation system plan, and deploying technology and supportive systems to help achieve a safer and more efficient, equitable, and multimodal transportation system. Also serve a key role, in distributing federal transportation funding to eligible entities throughout the MPO. Beyond the MPO work, LCOG transportation and planning programs also include the management and staffing of the Lane Area Commission on Transportation, also known as ACT. That's an advisory body to the Oregon Transportation Commission. Provides transportation planning services to jurisdictions throughout Lane County and beyond. Some of our current projects include grant writing support for the city of Cottage Grove, ad hoc planning for LTD, Lane Transit District, and management and staffing of the LTD Statewide Transportation Improvement Fund, also known as STIF. We also offer transportation options and safe routes to schools, funding and management, and staffing for the metro area and rural Lane County. This includes management of ODOT's Get There, friendly driver transportation options programs in our region, and much more. The LCOG transit program, also known as Link Lane, operates the Eugene to Florence and Florence to Yachats daily public transit service. So we are a transit authority as well. We're currently working with Cottage Grove to assume management operations of their transit service provided by South Lane Wheels, which provides service within and around Cottage Grove and rural South Lane County, as well as transit service between Eugene and Roseburg, including stops in several communities along the way. Another area of expertise and rapid growth for LCOG is our telecommunications and broadband. For over 20 years, LCOG has delivered secure, cost-effective, and feature-rich telephone service for our customers. We're able to create economies of scale through various procurement vehicles to share reliable telecommunication systems and services within the public sector. As an extension of our longstanding work in telecom, LCOG has been a statewide leader in broadband and fiber infrastructure throughout the state. We staff the Regional Fiber Consortium, which has worked to facilitate access to broadband and high-speed fiber optic facilities for communities throughout the three-county region of Lane, Douglas, and Klamath counties. In 2007, we also merged with the Fiber South Consortium, expanding our footprint to East Coburg, north to Salem, south to Merrill, and west to Bandon. LCOG itself also houses a neutral carrier facility designed to accommodate carrier switching and interconnection. Our interconnection site hosts a true internet exchange, providing true peering opportunities and not just simply interconnection. If anyone has any detailed questions about that, I'm happy to hook you up with someone who can talk more about that. That's not my area of expertise, but we definitely have that expertise here at LCOG. An exciting and recent development related to broadband is LCOG is currently negotiating a contract with Cobb Fenley and Associates of Seattle to develop a regional broadband and funding strategy that will both identify unserved and underserved areas of Lane County residents and develop funding proposals to address those needs in response to the historic levels of infrastructure funding we're expecting to see later this year, focused specifically on broadband through the IIJA federal funding. We are also beginning our teleconsortium strategic planning this fall. Our current consortium members include the City of Coburg, City of Springfield, 4J School District, Lane ESD, Lane Community College, Homes for Good, Lane County Historical Museum, and the Eugene Science Center. LCOG also provides cost-effective technology services to member agencies. This includes on-site training, long-range planning, and technical project management. Some recent examples include the MWMC website upgrades, City of Lowell, a new infrastructure build out for them, and network upgrades at the City of Cottage Grove. In the meantime, LCOG continues to grow in its cybersecurity work and is in development of a cybersecurity app, master service agreements for security products and services, and rollouts of phishing and awareness training for our members. Furthermore, we've launched a large infrastructure modernization project within our Park Place building, which will both increase our capacity and in-house security for all our systems that function within the Park Place building. Another service area that LCOG provides is our geographic informational systems and data services related to geographic information. We are at the forefront of spatial data analysis in this regard, applying advanced tools and creative methods to provide answers to vital questions. LCOG has a highly trained staff that use the latest GIS development tools and database technology, as well as the best available data to provide clients with professional custom maps, web applications, data extracts, analytical models, and spatial analysis. We also manage the Regional Land Information Database, known as RLID. RLID is a central resource for most land-based information in Lane County. The system comprises a data warehouse of regional land information from the cities, county, and state government agencies and other service districts. A suite of web-based applications allow users to view, query, analyze, and map data and print customized reports, all related to real estate and land ownership information throughout the county. Arlet also sees about 2.5 million user requests each year from our 4,300 active users. So those who are signed up for the service are definitely using it. Speaking of Arlet, we are currently have an RFP out that will be closing shortly for significant upgrades to our user interface. This will just continue to enhance the user experience and put more powers into the hands of subscribers. And we're looking to up that amount of 430 active users because of this. We also continue to develop our regional structures GIS layers, which happen to contain the most comprehensive set of structures, also known as building footprints in Lane County. The structure layer is useful for a variety of purposes, including property research, primarily for utility account management and real estate, forecasting and modeling buildable lands and infrastructure capacity along with transportation, emergency response and hazard assessment, but also for understanding development trends throughout the area. We also continue to work on our hazard reporting app. This was created post-holiday farm fire and provided a variety of GIS mapping and support for the holiday farm fire during the initial damage assessments throughout the recovery and ongoing restoration phases. It included a recent effort to assess and verify initial structure damage and loss inventory. We also created and continue to maintain ArcGIS Online, which is just a software platform, dashboards that report the ongoing restoration efforts in the McKenzie watershed, including site assessments, replanting, and fuels reductions, invasive species removal, and erosion control efforts, and we continue that today. As part of our ongoing economic development programming, in conjunctions with Cascades West COG, LCOG staffs the Cascade West Economic Development District, with members representing the counties of Benton, Lane, Lynn, and Lincoln. The SWED, as we call it, to shorten it, is currently operating under its 2020 and 2025 Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, which identified 6 priorities, including economic and industrial diversification, workforce flexibility, infrastructure redundancy and resiliency, equitable access, pre-disaster planning for response and recovery, and internal coordination and external communication. We also manage business loan program, which features 8 different funding sources targeting lending for manufacturing, rural development, real property acquisition, and business development. To maximize the impact of lending throughout the region, LCOG, along with Cascades West and Mid-Willamette Valley COGs, have embarked on a shared lending model branded Unity Lending that will increase both our efficiency and breadth of economic development lending across our regions. Government Services also houses Metro TV, which provides meeting coverage, video production, and AV technical assistance for our member agencies. In essence, it can be thought of as our local C-SPAN, providing coverage of numerous public meetings, including Eugene Planning Commission, Budget Committee, Lane County Board of Commissioners, Lane County Budget, and LTD meetings. As a video production company, Metro invests in the equipment and personnel to help local agencies tell their stories. Some of the stories it has helped tell include the Eugene Springfield Young Women's Fire Camp, Lane County Sheriff's Search and Rescue, and Eugene's Westmoreland Restaurant Program. Although Brenda mentioned we never take credit, Metro has consistently been praised for the quality of its work in the realm of video production, having won several Telly Awards, an international award recognizing the best in advertising agencies, TV, and production companies. In 2022, this was past year, we won 5 of these awards. So putting Lane County on the map for the quality of our services. For over 2 years now, LCOG has been operating the Local Government Personnel Services Program as well. This program provides human resources technical assistance to agencies across Oregon, specializes in assisting local government with issues related to labor contract negotiations, dispute resolution, recruitment, background checks, and investigations. LGPS is its own member organization as well. It's currently 61 members strong. I'm happy to report we have also just hired its first program manager, Stacy Marple. We're looking forward to her leading LGPS into its growing future. And here's my contact information. I've opened up for questions, but I'm sure that can wait until Stephanie's done with her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, we'll move right into Senior and Disability Services, and then we'll open up for questions.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Sheeler. Let me see if I can. Okay. Let's see if I can get my screen here. Okay. Oops. I'm not quite sure which screen you're seeing. Hold up.
Well, we had it up. Now it's showing the slideshow, resume slideshow.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
We can see it now.
Okay.
It's not in full slideshow mode, but
Okay.
you can see it. Yeah.
Let me see if I can get that changed. As you can see, I'm not the tech one. Michael is.
Here, well,
Uh,
be able to-
Hold on. Oh boy. Let me just stop sharing and let's see if I can get it again.
There you go.
Sorry, everyone.
Nothing like trying to, fix something when so many people are watching you, right?
No pressure.
I know, right? Let me see. Okay.
well,
No?
Huh, we can see half of your screen. Maybe the top half of it?
All right, let me see. But I don't think that's the one I need to share. Sorry.
Recording in progress.
That's me, sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay. There. Are you seeing me?
yes.
Okay. Success. I
Yay.
apologize. I don't have my camera on. I live in the Mohawk Valley, so internet is very sketchy here. But let me go ahead and go through it. So as I said, my name is Stephanie Sheeler. I am the new Director of Senior and Disability Services. I believe at your last meeting, you reviewed our budget. So today we are going to, as Michael did, highlight the work that we do. Now, I just have too many screens here and I'm trying to see. Okay, there. All right. So our eligibility team, we do a lot of work with our most vulnerable citizens here. And we provide a lot of support to our citizens. Our eligibility team determines eligibility for our Medicaid programs. Our traditional Medicaid programs are SNAP, which is food stamps, and medical benefits, including long-term care. In November of 2020, with the state implementation of the one system, we started determining eligibility for non-traditional SNDS Medicaid programs. Some of those are employment-related daycare, temporary assistance to needy families, and domestic violent grants. The TANF and the DV grants require a lot of collaborations and hands-off to our self-sufficiency programs. Some things that is new to our eligibility team is also conducting community intakes. This requires us going out into potentially someone's home if needed. We are also starting to identify partners that serve common consumers so we can start having conversations about having presence in their locations. For example, I've been having conversations with DD services and self-sufficiency. We are looking at bringing our services to our consumers in potentially senior centers where we already have presence, the meal sites, where our area coordinators are. So right now we are looking at Veneta, Junction City. We already have someone going up to Oak Ridge and so forth. So really expanding, instead of asking our consumers to come to us, we're looking at where are they located and bringing our services to them. We are also working on a community engagement plan with self-sufficiency program. So where they're located, looking at cross-training our staff and cross-seating our staff as well. So speaking of collaborations and community engagements, in July, we opened our Cottage Grove office at the Cottage Grove Community Center. And then in August, we moved our meal site there. This is the first location where we have both our office as well as a meal site. And as in the community center, there is the senior center, the library, and a local genealogy society. And I know our staff are excited to be there. As I mentioned, we opened up in July. Unfortunately, we still have a lot of newer staff. And so we are still sending staff from the Eugene office to serve the consumers until we have staff that are able to then provide services there as well. So in July, we were awarded an innovation grant. And so this is another example of our collaboration. We are working with HIV Alliance. We identify there's a critical need to expand the knowledge of what SNDS does, as well as, again, bringing services to the consumers. So with this collaboration, the grant we will be sending an ADRC specialist, and they will be housed at HIV Alliance and work hand in hand with one of their peer support specialists. We will be educating HIV Alliance staff about our services and how to access our services, as well as while we have an ADRC staff person at their site, as consumers come in to receive services through HIV Alliance, we can also then get them connected with services. Eventually, we are hoping that we will then accompany their staff to some of the Safe Camp sites throughout the community and bring our services there. We also created a complex case management team. This team consists of 4 complex case managers, 2 transition and diversion specialists, 1 pre-admission screener, and 2 newly created housing navigators. This team will specialize in some of our consumers who are high risk, who have very high barriers, and work in collaboration with our partners. We meet weekly with some of the hospital staff, the social workers from the hospital staffs, and really just trying to focus on their needs, and trying to support them while our ongoing case managers are able to serve ongoing consumers. So there was a real need to provide that really special person-centered case management. So we created this team to do so. It's still a new team. I believe we still have 1 vacancy that we're still filling. And so they're still in the forming stage at this point. As I mentioned, we have housing navigators as part of this complex team. And many of our consumers, maintaining safe and stable housing has been a challenge for them. And so these housing navigators will walk with them hand in hand through the process of securing housing and then maintaining their housing. By having these housing navigators, this has allowed us to work again with Homes for Good as a preferred partner, which allows our consumers to have preference for housing opportunities. We are also in the process of collaborating with Peace Health to contract a hospital transition case manager that will be housed at the hospital. And as I mentioned previously, we currently meet on a weekly basis, staffing with the hospital representatives to coordinate and troubleshoot specific cases. Our adult protective services, we have certainly seen an increase in cases being assigned to us almost on a every day. Our investigators get assigned a case, and we have about 18 investigators at this point. One of the big cases that they worked, if you remember, fall of 2021, I believe it was. There was the Junction City Assisted Living Facility. We worked in conjunction with the Junction City Police. We conducted interviews, investigations for neglect and theft. And during this, we had to also evacuate about 50 residents due to various reasons. And at the same time, the Department of Justice became involved in this case. And there was a employee that was charged with 6 out of 21 charges around theft, criminal mistreatment, and tampering with the drugs records. So this specific case, there were 30 victims associated with this neglect and theft. We had 11 staff working on this case, and this is just our APS team. This does not include our ongoing case managers, our transition workers who had to look for placements for the additional 50 residents. And so this was a heavy lift for our staff. There were 28 substantiated allegations of neglect. And as you can see, there was civil penalties on this case. So this is one of the most recent big cases that our staff dealt with. Most recently, Cedar Creek fire response. This is something, unfortunately, that has become part of our normal work at this point, is responding to emergencies. And what this looks like is, although we're not funded for this work, it's the right thing to do to make sure our consumers are safe. In the past, we took the approach all hands on deck, and we call all of our consumers, our long-term care consumers, our OAA clients, to make sure they're safe. Do they have a place to evacuate to? And if not, we will work on placements and so forth. In the past, when we have done this has caused our normal work to be put on the back burner, which also then created a backlog once the emergency was done. This time around, we identified a support response team consisting of non-caseload carrying staff to make these calls. And as you can see, on a Friday, we pulled 35 of our staff, most of them administrative staff, leads. We had, I believe, 11 staff who were currently in training, and we pulled them to make phone calls. We made 744 calls to our consumers. This included not just those impacted by the fires, but also by the power outages as well. And so as you can see, 356 of the calls that we made to Oak Ridge and Westburg consumers identified having evacuation needs. We worked closely with the Lane County Emergency Management Team and was part of the Emergency Operations Command. On that Saturday, we had one staff person who was physically located at the EOC on the Delta Center, and I was literally teleworking, looking at clients as we received names of consumers. We also sent a lead worker and a case manager to the evacuation site at the fairgrounds to support our consumers who were there, as well as determine eligibility for new consumers. As you can see by the quote from one of the lead workers, she was thankful for the opportunity to perform outreach and assessments on those evacuated from the fires. It's times like this that remind me how valuable we are to the community. This is the type of work that our staff really thrive on. And it's providing not just our day-to-day services to our consumers, but being a part of our community when our community is in need. One of our other programs is our senior meals. As a new director, I've been visiting our sites, and it is so rewarding to see the relationship our staff have with the community members. Unfortunately, our congregate sites have not opened up yet because we don't have enough volunteers. And it's just amazing to see how creative they have been. They have drive-ups where people just drive up and we're giving them their meals. We have walk-ups where, and just the camaraderie that they have is just amazing. Here's just some data on how many meals we served in the last fiscal year. During the pandemic, we saw an increase of 25%, and that number has not decreased to the point that we added a Springfield route. Our senior meals program relies very heavily on donations and fundraisings, like our Race for the Rest of Us that we just had. Unfortunately, we canceled the live portion of it, but we still had people who participated in person as well as online. I believe this year we had 74 people who registered. Again, it's a great fundraiser. And at this point, we are looking at identifying where our needs are and creating a year-long fundraising plan. At this point, I just want to give a little bit more information. We also hired an outreach and volunteer coordinator to get our name out there, educate the community and our partners on who we are, what we do, how to access our services, as well as to recruit volunteers. Since so many of our programs, such as the Senior Meals program, rely on volunteers, we really felt that we needed someone who was dedicated to look at our volunteers and really focus on that. This was just a really quick highlight of what we do, but there's so much more that we do, such as we have options counseling, we have LIHEAP, transportation assessments that we do. But like I said, this is just a kind of a quick view of what Senior and Disability does. And again, I want to thank you all for all of your support. And I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, Stephanie.